Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Summer Skill Builder series. Feel free to say hello in the chat. We've got me, Kelsey, here.
And Amanda Jean, that's me.
We've also got Matt and Mike here as well. How's it going, everybody? Who do we have here? We've got Lee. Hello. Hey, Lee. Hey, Holly. Hey, Juliet and Tanya. How's it going, Anastasia? How's it going, Bridget and Brian? Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Dallas. Hope you guys are recovering all right. You didn't get hit too bad by that weather that came through.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about that hurricane in Texas this past week.
A lot of people not having internet, not having power.
Mm-hmm.
One person couldn't get to their microbits because they were at their school.
Yep.
And the school had electronic locks and no power. So hopefully you guys are surviving all of your weathers effectively. But hey, how's it going, everybody? That's great. Well, we're going to ask you a little icebreaker question here that you can answer in the chat. And our icebreaker question for you is, what has been the highlight of your summer?
Ooh.
Maybe it's a CodeJoy course, but hopefully it's something else. What's been the highlight of your summer, everybody? We'll read some of these out.
What's been the highlight of your summer, Kelsey?
I've got two.
Okay.
One is you getting here.
Oh,
because we've needed you here for so long and you're here now and it's just such a relief, you know?
Absolutely.
But then also last week I took a vacation up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and got bitten by every single mosquito on the way up, but it was great. What's been the highlight of your summer?
Moving to Pittsburgh, new house, getting everything and everyone settled in, not just me and my husband, like the dogs is like a whole thing,
and
getting them acclimated.
And plants and
oh yes, reptiles and plants and currently the new CodeJoy studio is filled with every single plant that I own and was in my classroom. It's a lot of plants.
A lot of plants. All right, one friend went to Ireland. Hey, Lee, who is that? Leo moved to a new location in town. Nice. Awesome. Sarah had a little mini vacay to Oregon. The Shakespeare Festival, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Meg did a little tubing on the lake. Love to hear it. Anastasia says AP reading. Do you mean reading AP essays? Because I just can't believe that's been the highlight of your summer, but maybe there were some really good ones. I love that. Teresa says, time off with my littles while they're still little. It is a precious time for sure. What else we got? Time with the grandkids, says Roxanne. Let's see. Bridget's highlight was visiting Punta Cana with the family. Oh, that sounds cool.
Sounds delightful and tropical.
Yay. Oh, who's that? Melissa says, no school stuff until today, and it's CodeJoy. Yay. Oh, that makes us feel special. What else we got? Spending some time with the children. 18-day trip to Colorado, Nebraska, Wyoming, and Montana. Those are 4 big old states. That sounds really cool, David. Awesome. Well, it's great hearing like what you guys are up to during your summer. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do a couple more introductions. I'll start off with me. Hi, everybody. If we haven't met before, my name is Kelsey Derringer. I'm one of the co-founders here at CodeJoy. And you are?
I'm Amanda Jean Strode. I'm the new Director of Learning here at CodeJoy. I'm very excited to be here full-time officially.
We're ecstatic to have you. So if you guys haven't met Amanda Jean before, she is a microbit educator, classroom educator, tons and tons of experience, years of experience using the tools that we teach in the classroom. She taught us a few things back in the day. And also leading groups of educators as well. You've done a ton of professional development in the school districts you've worked in, so we're really lucky to have you on the team.
Thanks, I feel very lucky myself.
We've got a couple other team members here as well. Matt, do you want to pop on and say hello?
Hello, everyone. I'm Matt. I'm going to be off screen most of the day, but I'm here really just to monitor the chat and answer any questions that you may have as they're coming in. So whether they're technical questions or questions about CodeJoy, I'm here to answer those. So see you in the chat, everybody.
And then we've also got our CTO, Mike Cotterman, as well. Mike, do you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody where you are?
Sure. I'm Mike Cotterman. I'm CTO at CodeJoy, and I am in Ohio. So I'm not in the studio. I'm in a basement. And it's great because it's nice and cool down here.
A basement in Ohio sounds like a lovely place to be. So if people haven't met you before, do you want to tell them like what you do around CodeJoy?
Yeah.
Sure. I tend to fiddle with electronics and make little things that are needed around the studio, as well as build out the CodeJoy Live platform.
Yes. So if you've ever attended any of our live student sessions, which I'm going to tell you about in just a minute here, Mike built that platform that allows students to code and control our robots. And there's just nothing else like it out there. So we're really glad you built it. Awesome. Well, thanks, Mike. Mike is here as a co-host as well, so he'll be here to answer any questions, things like that come in the chat. And often he provides silly AI images of things. So if you see those, it's probably Mike. Oh, and I wanted to say a huge congratulations to Nicole and your son for him getting married this year. That sounds great.
We love a wedding, man. Love a
I
wedding.
love it. Well, I'm going to go ahead and have you step off to the side there, Amanda
Sounds
Jean.
good.
Will
See you soon.
be back in a little bit. But we're going to get things kicked off here. If you would like to, if you came in with something other than your name, like if you came in as like a phone number or something like that, I believe you have the option to rename yourself. I'm not sure this is a webinar, so it's a little bit different, but if you'd like to rename yourself, you certainly can. You don't have to use our naming convention here, but this is really just a prompt to rename yourself if you'd like to. But this Summer Skill Builder series is part of a larger series called the Infosys Pathfinders Summer Institute, which many of you have already participated in to some extent this year. The Infosys Summer Institute is put on by the Infosys Foundation USA. And that Infosys Foundation USA, they sponsor a lot of different professional development, including stuff for computer science and maker education. So if you're having a good time during the webinar today, you can certainly tag the Infosys Foundation and say thanks. Really, this is a place for us, CodeJoy, to talk about a few of our different courses, because one of the constraints for this summer's Pathfinders Online Institute was that you could only sign up for one thing. And we're doing a bunch of different professional developments this summer. So we're doing one called Robot Mini Golf, which is almost done now, but that is using the Hummingbird Robotics Kit to build mini golf obstacles and really talk more deeply about project-based learning. We're also doing a microbit-focused workshop this summer that we're calling Microbit in the Wild. And Microbit in the Wild is really talking about using the microbit as a tool for environmental literacy. And then we're also doing one called Practical AI for Educators Beyond the Hype. So really diving into this new topic of AI and helping people who like us and people who we like learn to understand kind of how to approach AI a little bit more hands-on. So there we go. Yeah, you may not have the option to rename yourself. That's totally okay. I will take that away. I think most people came in with their name. So if you'd like to take any pictures or videos during the Skill Builder session today, go for it. Amanda Jean and I are wearing lipstick. Matt's not, but that was his choice. But we're ready. We're ready to have our picture taken at any point if you'd like to. So excellent. So that's a little bit about Pathfinders this summer. Now, some of you may have already started your session, some of you may not have, but actually I'd like to just get to know everybody a little bit more. So Matt's going to share a link in the chat with you to Mentimeter, which if you haven't used it before, Mentimeter is a pretty cool online presentation software, and it's interactive. So if you click on that link, you'll see this map here, and you can click on the map wherever it is that you teach, and then say submit. So we've got 70-something people here right now, and we're going to see little dots appear all over this map here, which is pretty darn cool. We've got people in California, Oregon, Washington, Florida, Texas, Pennsylvania. I love it. Love it, love it. We've got some Wisconsin folks. You know, there's even some folks, these are, people can join from anywhere in the United States, including US territories. So we do have a couple folks participating from like Guam and Puerto Rico this summer, which just a huge thank you to the Infosys Foundation for seeing and supporting virtual learning because without virtual learning, there's a lot of people who are here right now and learning with us this summer that probably just wouldn't be able to participate because flight prices and hotels and just timing and stuff over the summer. So we're really glad that they continue to support virtual learning because that's what we do. We really think that there's a lot of opportunities with virtual learning, and just looking at a map like this helps prove why. Hey, I'm really glad our friend in Colorado put it in there because we were missing somebody from the middle. So that's great. All right. My next question for you here on Mentimeter is just what grades do you teach? So do you teach K2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 12, or maybe you mostly teach other teachers? And you can select all that apply. So if you are like a district administrator and you work K-12, you can put that in there. But we'll kind of see these populate here, especially when we have more people participating. Mentimeter is so cool. I really like seeing that. So you can see kind of who else is here. We've got a fair number of everybody here, which is pretty cool. Hey, awesome. Welcome in from Colorado Springs. Glad you're here, Mark. That's great. So we'll put that Mentimeter link back in the chat for you so you can participate. We're just kind of learning who's here, who's joining. We've got the whole gang's here, K to adult. Everybody's learning together, which is great. All right, next question for you here on Mentimeter. What subjects do you teach? I think it's useful to know kind of who's here. Do you teach tech and STEAM and CS? Do you teach, are you a librarian? Is that where you kind of fall? Do you teach English language arts, science, math, social studies, phys ed, music? Feel free to, again, select all that apply for you, but we'll see who all's here. No gym teachers yet. Maybe we'll get one. You know what? I didn't put gifted and talented on there, Jennifer. You're right. I'll add that for next time. Thank you. So you would be sort of all of them, I bet, because you're kind of doing all of those things. Nice. Yeah, excellent. Well, I love seeing all of the different subject areas represented here because that just reinforces this idea that computer science, robotics, and now AI, they're really cross-curricular. They're not just meant to be kept in a math class or a tech class or a CS class. These are really tools that we can use in all sorts of different subject areas. So I think that is really cool. Oh, I love that. Melissa says, fun fact, I'm the media specialist, but I did teach PE one day every other week. So all the hats, including baseball caps. I love that, Melissa. Okay, so this next one is asking you what course you're taking. So this is only for folks taking CodeJoy courses, or maybe some of your friends as well. That's totally all right. But I'm interested, are you taking Microbit in the Wild, Robot Mini Golf, or Practical AI for Educators? I think in total we have 200 Microbit in the Wild participants, 186 Robot Mini Golf participants, and I think under 100 with the Practical AI for Educators. But I'm interested to know who is here. Excellent. No worries, Trisha, we got you covered. Excellent. Okay. So looks like we've got quite a few Microbit in the Wild folks and Robot Mini Golf folks here. And Practical AI people. Excellent. So if you are in the Practical AI for Educators, this is probably the first time we're meeting each other. So hi, welcome. We're going to be starting our sessions next week. Both Microbit in the Wild and Robot Mini Golf have already started, or Robot Mini Golf is mostly done at this point. But welcome in. You can expect the teaching to be a bit like this, but a little bit more hands-on when we do our official sessions, which start next week. Okay. Have you started your CodeJoy course yet this summer? I'm curious. Nope, haven't started, or I'm in progress, or I have finished. This is also interesting to see kind of who we got here. I'm betting most of those nope, haven't started are probably my AI friends because Microbit in the Wild, we just finished all of the session A's last week. Although there may be some people who are doing the asynchronous video option too, which is cool. So excellent. All right. Yeah, you're my AI friend, Regina. I'm glad you're here. Okay, cool. All right. So this one is a little bit broader question, but I'm wondering, what are your goals for your own summer learning? Maybe your goal was just to try something new, or to get a little bit more comfortable with coding, or to learn about AI. Or maybe this isn't the only summer learning thing you're doing this year. Maybe you're also taking a 3D printing class, or maybe your big goal is I want to get ready to be a makerspace teacher next year. It's my first time. So whatever your goals are for your summer learning, go ahead and type those in. Sentence fragments are fine. And maybe Amanda Jean, would you help me read some of these out?
Absolutely. PD kickoff ideas for staff.
Excellent. So you're here thinking about how could I involve my teachers more and what could I bring back to them? I love that.
Learn more about AI.
We're going to dive into it in those AI courses.
Try something new.
Love it. Welcome in.
Looking for new techniques while trying a new product for the students of my district.
Excellent. Okay, trying some new products, trying some new techniques. How about this one?
Understanding how to best help students when they are building robots.
Yeah, just like gaining that confidence so that you can support them well. Love it. How about this one?
Not be scared and skeptical of AI.
I love that. I think there's a lot of room for fear with AI because we don't totally know what it's going to be, what it's going to become. We can barely define how it is and what it is right now because it's changing so quickly. So I love that you're just like, I'm going to dive in and face my fears a little bit. I love it. Nothing like exposure therapy, right? How about this one here?
I have been asked to present on AI in the classroom to my school staff, so I was excited when Pathfinders had this course.
Excellent. I think you're going to find a lot of great resources about that, so that you'll have something to bring back. Excellent. How about this one?
Find a way to reinvigorate my upper grade students. They have become apathetic, and I need to bring a higher game.
Yeah, bring your A game to those kids. You know, especially like post-pandemic, I think a lot of kids figured out that we don't know as much as Wikipedia, that we don't know as much as Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever. And they're right, we don't. So what's the point of coming to school if this person standing in front of you is this just like fallible human? Well, the hope is hopefully we can provide some experiences at school that they couldn't find at home, and that the point of school is experiences, not just knowledge transmission, but what are we doing in our classroom? What are you doing with your fellow classmates? What tools do you have access to at the school? What experiences do you have access to? But definitely feeling those higher grades struggling to get to school and struggling to continue to be engaged. You're not the only one. How about I'll scroll way down here to the bottom. How about this one?
Adding content to my CS and cyber courses.
Excellent. How about this one?
More experience to help kids.
Cool.
Expand my understanding of AI and ways to make coding exciting for all my students.
Excellent. You know, I'm so glad that you guys are all here with us right now and here with us learning this summer, because we also have such a deep bench of knowledge joining us. So hopefully we can use our courses this summer to help crowdsource some of our best ideas so that you can all bring that back to your classrooms this coming school year. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing what you're looking for. So here's how our Skill Builder series is going to work today. You're going to be able to use the chat a lot. You can all see each other's stuff in the chat. So feel free to ask questions, share ideas as we're going through certain things. If something spurs an idea for you, or if you say, oh, here's how I teach that in my classroom when I do it, feel free to use that chat. The chat is your friend. Matt and Mike will both be monitoring that. And so if I miss something from the chat, which is likely, they'll hopefully catch it. But that's a place to kind of have like a productive ongoing side conversation together. So, but what we're going to do during the rest of our Skill Builder time is we're going to start with robot mini golf, and then go into microbit in the wild, and then go into AI. And we're going to preview one of the projects we did in that course. So even if you weren't able to take that course, you're going to get to see a few of the things that we're going to do. So each of our Skill Builder series today and then the next 3 weeks after this, so 4 weeks total, we'll be going through one little mini project from each of the sessions so you can get a little preview and not miss out on the great learning that you perhaps couldn't attend live. So we're going to start with robot mini golf. Actually, we're going to start with us here at CodeJoy just to give you a better idea of what it is that we do. So one of the things I'm sure you know that we do is we do professional development. Matt's going to put a link there in the chat. We do professional development entirely virtually, like you're seeing now. We do that for national organizations like the Infosys Foundation USA. We're serving public school teachers and librarians. all over the country. But we also do that with state organizations like state departments of education, regional organizations. We also do that with school districts as well. So we do that all virtually. Sometimes, like you guys, our participants are all spread out in different places, joining from home. Sometimes when we're working with like a school district, we'll have like 15 educators at this school building and 15 educators over here and 15 more over there. And so they'll be joining from a couple of different locations, or sometimes all the teachers will be in one room and they'll have us up on the projector and we'll be on everybody's screens on Zoom, and we'll be teaching individuals like that as well. So if you're interested in getting some professional development funded through your school or your state organization or whatever the case may be, please do feel free to like reach out to us and connect us with the people that you know, because we just don't think that teachers should be paying for your own education. Other people should pay for this for you. So connect us with the people who provide you professional development, and we'd love to work with them to get that for you. So let us know. Let's see. Oh, and don't worry about it, David. Nobody can unmute today, so we can't hear anybody, which is sad because I like hearing your voices, but don't worry, we can't hear your kids at the pool. You're good. All right, so that's one thing that we do. Now, we offer professional development on a variety of different tools, and I'm going to show you some of those right now. So we use the Hummingbird Robotics Kit, if you haven't seen it before. It's this awesome microbit powered tool here, and it also comes with some motors and lights and sensors. This is from Bird Brain Technologies. That's one of the tools that we use. We also provide professional development on the BBC Microbit. We teach coding, ELA, science, math, etc. We do that with our microbits by themselves. We also work with another bird brain product called the Finch robot. This Finch robot right here is an awesome tool, especially for like librarians or people who are kind of short on time, because it's really easy to get started. This is an awesome like K-12 tool, and it's basically just a little like programmable little like car, which is pretty cool. Plus you can put a marker in there and draw with it. That's awesome. Plus, we are really excited to be adding some new products this year. So let me show you some of the new things that we haven't taught PD on before, but that are going to be available this fall. We've got the Makey Makey right here. Now, if you guys have used a Makey Makey before, then you know how cool this thing is. But basically, this just becomes like a touch-sensitive little platform that you can plug into your computer or your keyboard. I'm seeing some reactions come in. You guys know Makey Makeys. Well, we're going to start teaching them this year. And Joy Labs, which is the maker of the Makey Makey, they are coming out with a new product called the CodeJoy Backpack, which gets the Makey Makey and the microbit working together. And so we're going to be teaching that as well. So if you use Makey Makeys at your school and you'd like some PD, reach out. If you want to learn about this CodeJoy Backpack thing, that's pretty cool too. You can reach out about that. Also, another new product that we're going to be covering this fall is paper circuits. So these are from Chibitronics, and this is an awesome way to learn about electronics. They have these great little sketchbooks here where they have like different kinds of circuits, and you use copper tape to cover these circuits up like this, and then you can learn like different kinds of parallel circuits or circuits in a series or whatever. And then you can also use this these little like LED stickers, and they go right on there, which is really cool. I know, Maria, we are so excited. The Chibi team is so kind and so cool. So we're really excited to be working with them this year. Plus, we got a couple more here. Do you guys know about Mod Robotics? They're pretty cool too. They have this awesome little robotic tool called the Cubelets. And so basically these cubelets are things that you can kind of like snap together, and potentially it can be a screen-free, or there's a screen version as well, where you can have like motors, lights, and sensors, and they kind of like magnetize together like this. And so we're going to teach folks how to use those as well. Super cool tool. If you use those, or if you're interested in them for your school, you can let us know, because we're going to be covering those more. So there may even be some more products that we cover beyond that. So take a look at our website as you're getting set for the fall. We're still adding some new products to our product line. We teach folks how to use those through virtual professional development, and we sell them as well. So if you're interested in purchasing some of those things for your classroom, let us know. We'll be able to generate a quote, get you an estimate, get those things shipped to you. I'm so excited. Me too, Leah. It's we've spent a lot of time with Microbit, Finch, Hummingbird, etc. And so it is very exciting to be able to offer some new professional development courses and content and products, which is pretty cool. Hey, yeah, Kubelets, you got it. So that's one thing we do, professional development and hardware sales. But we also do these things that we call our interactive student sessions. So in professional development, we do that on Zoom. And in professional development, like you guys have seen this summer, you, the teacher, you have the tool. We, your teachers, we have the tool, and we're teaching you to use the tool. You have it, it's a hands-on workshop. But in our student sessions, the kids don't actually need a robot. All they need is a Chromebook or a computer or even an iPad. And what they do is we teach them how to write some code. They write some code on their screen, and then they send that code to us through our website that Mike designed called CodeJoy Live. And then they actually get to control our robots live. So it's kind of like a TV show, but it's like an interactive TV show. So picture Sesame Street, but you actually get to control Oscar the Grouch, or picture Mr. Rogers, but you actually get to control King Friday, something like that. So we've kind of invented something brand new, and we've had a great time doing this for about 50,000 kids at this point have joined our sessions. So just to show you a little preview of what those sessions are like, we have a little video here for you. So check this out. Hello, I'm so glad you're here. Today, we are going to be learning about some coding and robotics, and you, from wherever you are, you're going to get to control our robots live. We're gonna play some mini golf. You guys are going to help us program the obstacles, and a couple of you are even going to golf live. That's amazing!
Now we've got some code here from Hannah that I'd like to take a look at.
All right, Hannah, here's what your code looks like. So by some of your reactions and a couple of the chats that came in, I can tell that some of you have been to those sessions before. We think they're really fun and innovative, and it can be a great way to get a big group of students. We can have up to 400 students doing a collective activity where they all actually get to participate. Regina says, we participated, it was so much fun. Oh, thank you so much. We wanted to show you a little bit about that as well, because we offer a number of free sessions that are open to the public, just because we want to make sure that teachers can join these. So if you wanted to purchase those through your school, we have 9 different episodes of CodeJoy, and special announcement, we are forming a new episode of the CodeJoy show this year. We've got things like Robot Mini Golf, Robot Aerobics, which is a dance show, Robot Relaxation, which is all about test anxiety, Robot Memories, which is about LB hanging out with his grandma, Robot Paper Scissors, what else? Robot DJ, that one's all about music. But we're adding a new session this year called Robot Garden, which is really inspired by Microbit in the wild. And honestly, I don't have any more information about it than that. We have a title. We don't have a show yet, but when we do, we will email you guys about it and host a number of free public sessions so that you can bring an entire classroom or maybe even an entire school of students to some of these. So I'm glad to hear it was really easy for you to set up, Christina. That's great. So if you hear about our CodeJoy student sessions, that's what they are. But let's go ahead and jump into talking about our Robot Mini Golf professional development. So what did we do in this Robot Mini Golf professional development? Well, we sent all of the educators one Hummingbird robotics kit. So that kit comes with the microbit. It comes with this extension board, the hummingbird that can snap onto it here. That also comes with motors and lights and sensors that are really easy to attach there. But basically what this hummingbird robotics kit thing is it's a robot. And we say a robot is something that can sense, think, and act. So the hummingbird itself has sensors like a sound sensor or a distance sensor or a light sensor or even a dial sensor. All of those come with the kit. And all of those things then plug into the microbit and the extension board, the hummingbird. Those plug in here. Now those sensors, they generate some kind of number, right? Like the distance sensor might tell you that something is 30 centimeters away. They send that number to the hummingbird here. And then that can control a number of LEDs, tricolor LEDs, rotation servo motors, and position servo motors, and also a buzzer as well. So if you're used to using a microbit, the Hummingbird Robotics Kit basically is an entire, very well thought out, very well engineered kit so that you can make stuff like this, right? All of these were made with Hummingbird kits powered by microbit. So this has got a motor very slowly turning this head back and forth. We've got some tricolor LEDs changing the color of our Tiki Guy's teeth. We've got Mona Lisa slowly looking around and keeping tabs on everybody. Over here, we've got this very popular like hand project where the motors, as they turn, pull on string, it goes up through straws. You can see the idea here. You're using craft supplies to facilitate building a robot powered by motors and lights, but you're just hot gluing trash together, basically. And so we had 9 hours together during Robot Mini Golf, 3 hours, 3 hours, and 3 hours. And we used mini golf, or robot mini golf, as kind of a framing technique to talk about project-based learning. So some teachers came in with a lot of experience with project-based learning. Some came in with very little. Some came in with big hopes, but little experience about project-based learning. And we basically used this as a framing technique to design mini golf course holes, to talk about inputs and outputs. And we really just learned sort of like motors, lights, and sensors. But on the first day of our course, we talked about what makes a good first project. So there's a lot of different things that might be good as a first project, but as a company, we've come up with what we call our first project guidelines, especially when you're doing creative robotics. And so we said a great first project is something that uses outputs only, so like just lights, motors, sound, not sensors, at least for your first project. Something that has really simple code, something that maybe only uses like 2 to 5 code blocks, something super easy. Something that's really easy to build, that doesn't have a really like finicky little step where if the paperclip isn't just so, it won't work. No, it should be, kid-proof. And then something that still gives them great creative choices. So that first session, we talked a lot about these first project guidelines, and then we made a first project. And here, let me show you what the first project is that we made. Would you grab that for me, Amanda Jean? Thank you. So we made a robot windmill, and it looks like this. So basically, it's just a box with a hole in it and a windmill thing rotating around it. I'm going to stop that for a second so you can see it totally meets our first project guidelines because all it uses is one motor right there, outputs only. Creative choices, all kinds of creative choices were made in the making of this robot. Simple code, the code really is just set your rotation servo to a speed like 20%. And a really easy build. This was super, super easy to build. And yes, you will definitely have access to this recording. We're going to post it on YouTube. Awesome. So if you want to see how easy it was to build this little windmill, I actually have a video for you. So check out this video and you yourself can learn how to build a miniature windmill. So that was a super easy project to build, and it fit all of those nice first project guidelines. And we actually had the teachers build that during our first session. We only gave them like 15 minutes to do it. We basically said, here, make something really quick and super messy. And boy, did they deliver. In fact, I'm going to show you a little highlight video of what they created in just 15 minutes when they were told to make their own windmill here. And feel free to put your reactions and any questions you might have in the chat. There's a great conversation going on about different cutting tools, so check that out. But here's a video about the windmills that our participants made. We love that. We love that. One, two, three. Great job, everybody. This was fantastic. Oh, I love to see it. That was so fun seeing what teachers could come up with and make in just 15 minutes. Not pictured in that video is a very sneaky cat that got into one of the windmills, which was just delightful and fun. So that actually leads me to exactly what Leslie already put in the chat. I have a question for you. If you were here from the robot mini golf course, what did you think of that project? Go ahead and put your reactions to that project in the chat, especially if you were a member of that course. What did you think of doing that live? And I'll answer Crystal's question. Crystal says, are there any more of the robotics courses that are taught over the summer? Well, we're partway through. We're almost done with robot mini golf. And unfortunately, all of the spots are filled with robot mini golf and actually in Pathfinders as a whole. So nobody else can join any Pathfinders courses because they filled up, which is awesome, but sad. So that's one factor. We're not teaching any other courses outside of Infosys this summer. They've kept us pretty busy this summer, but this is always something that you could potentially attend with your school district. If you wanted to have your school district purchase some professional development, we would love to do this for your school. But I'm going to read out some of these reactions here. Courtney says, I loved this project. I can't wait to try it with my 4th graders. Leah says, it was a lot of fun. Melinda says it was fun and it was amazing to learn that you can do a quick project in just a few minutes. Yeah. Oh, and Joy says it was a great course overall and I learned so much about how to use the Hummingbird. I'm so glad to hear that, Joy. Melissa says it was a blast. I can't wait to have my students design their own and also see what else they can do with the Hummingbird. And Nicole says, when I did the mini golf, we all had so much fun. Yeah. Karen also says it was a great project. It really let you practice timings and materials management too. Yeah. All right, question for everybody then. Even if you didn't attend the robot mini golf course, what does a miniature windmill project like this inspire in you? what does it make you think of for your classroom? And while you perhaps put some ideas in the chat yourselves, let me show you what this inspired in our teachers that we taught. So we basically did that mini windmill together, and we said, all right, here's the first project guidelines. Go make up your own first project. Something that only uses output, simple code, easy build, creative choices, and align it to something that might be useful in your school or your classroom. And I'm going to share 3 examples with you of what teachers made. And I'm so impressed. These are so cool, you guys. So this first one is the book cover project. This is from Alyssa Roathelli in Austin, Texas. So let me make this full screen here. Oh, I'll do it like full screen. Here we go. So in this one, basically, they just used some LEDs to and a piece of paper to animate the cover of their favorite book. And so she envisioned putting these out in the library as basically like 4th grade book recommendations, and they make these little mini project. And so if your favorite book was The First Rule of Punk by Cecilia C. Perez, well, then you could make a book cover. Super simple, super effective, and every kid has a favorite book. They could animate it, which is just so cool. I love that. So that's one idea. Here's another one. This is called the Molecule Demo. This is from Sarah Gumau in Anthem, Arizona, and I'll go ahead and make this full screen as well. So in this one, this was really just a demo of how molecules work. So hot molecules go faster and cold molecules go slower. Super easy. Outputs only, simple code, easy build, creative choices. But maybe an extension of this would be like use a hummingbird to demonstrate a concept that we've just learned in some way. And that would be a way to just help demonstrate it. There you go. I love that one. And then we've got one more here. This is a map project from Teresa Seipert in Slinger, Wisconsin. I'll go ahead and make this full screen here. Check out this map project. Now, I believe this had to do somehow with the New England colonies. I don't know why the fish is there, but I love it. It's great. No complaints about that fish. But I think they happen in order that they were founded, perhaps. New Hampshire, and then Rhode Island, and then Massachusetts, and then the Rhode Island and Connecticut. So I think the lights light up in the order that they were founded, but an interactive map project would be an awesome way to just use a couple of LEDs and, you know, maybe a spinning fish to liven up your social studies lesson. So I wanted to point all of those out because what we did in that course was really meant to inspire teachers to come up with their own projects. But I'm going to check on the chat now and see what kind of projects this makes you think of. Melissa said these projects are just using servo motors. The mini windmill was, yeah, it was using rotation servo motors. So they're continuous rotation motors. They can go either direction. Position servo motors only go 180 degrees, and they're a lot more accurate in terms of angles. But if you want continuous rotation like a windmill, you'd use a rotation servo, yeah. Gretchen says, I'm inspired for students to begin with the windmill and incorporate a challenge, incorporating some different shapes, like a question and answer game, maybe the book cover idea. Oh, I'm glad that inspired you too, especially as a former ELA teacher. That book one, I'm just like, why didn't I think of that? I mean, thank you, Alyssa. That's what I mean. Yeah. Teresa says, oh, hey, that's me. Oh, she says it was the main industry in the colonies. Of course, fish. Obviously, now I understand. Yeah. Juliet says, we posed a problem of needing traffic lights to be timed better at an intersection outside the school. The students use the LED lights and coding to create the order that the lights come on and off and have the green light stay on longer. I love that. You're solving real problems that they encounter literally every day on their trek to school. I loved it. Let's see, great formative assessment ideas, says Tanya. Yeah, see if they really understand how molecules move or, you know, whatever the case may be. Multiple choice tests are one way to see what kids know. Building a robot diorama is another way. Absolutely. Roxanne says, I love it. It just shows how it can work in any subject on multiple grade levels. That's what we really like about that Hummingbird kit too. Awesome. Well, with that, we're going to transition over to another course that we've been teaching this summer, which is Microbit in the Wild. And I'm actually not the main teacher in that course. Amanda Jean Strode is. So I'm going to invite Amanda Jean up to tell you about that course and to take you through one of the activities they did in their first session. So I'm going to take my water with me. Take it away, Amanda Jean.
Sounds good. Hi, everyone. It is so great to see all of you here, teachers that are here for my course, but all the other courses too. Isn't it so nice that we get like a little sneak preview of the other courses? I know we all like to see all of the things and know all of the things. I know I'm very much that way. So I am teaching this course called Microbit in the Wild. And in this course, we learn all about the microbit and we use it in lots of different ways to explore and be adventurous, ideally outside. It's really fun to do all of this stuff inside of our classrooms, but and also, sure, our classrooms can be wild on occasion as well, but we like to get out the door. So all of the things we're doing are ideally to be inspiring you to walk out the door with your materials and with your students. So the first thing I'd like to share with everyone is about the tool we're using. Oh, give me a second. Moving my mouse around. There we go. The tool we're using is the Microbit. All right. So the Microbit is a really amazing tool. It's one of my absolute favorites as a classroom teacher. Let's see. There we go. This is a pocket-sized computer. All right. Now, a lot of people call it a pocket-sized computer, and for good reason, because it has a lot of the same things inside that a computer does too, like a processor and memory. But there's also some other cool interactive things built in here as well, and that is your LED screen. You've got buttons. There's different sensors like an accelerometer and a magnetometer, all different cool things built into that package. And we like to look at that tool in a very interesting way in our course. We take it from inputs and outputs, all right? So inputs are all the things that go into your microbit. That's sensors. Some of the sensors, which I'll show you how to use today, are light and code. You can code sound and temperature. There's all these cool ways to see how like the earth is interacting with your tools. Your code tells the microbit what to do with that information, and then the output is the information that comes out of your microbit. So for example, there's two main outputs of the microbit. There's an LED screen, and there's also a speaker and a microphone. But there's other outputs that you could use too. For example, your computer screen. So one of the things that your microbit is well equipped to do is bring information in and store it. And then you can access the information that's in there via your computer screens. Really cool. We're actually going to learn how to do all of that together today. Now, my friends in the back, would you give me, there we go, a hand. There's my mouse. All right. We are today going to do some data logging with our microbits. Now, data logging is exactly that, storing that information on the microbit and then looking at it on our computer screen. And I actually did a little bit of prep for our course and for all of you here. And I took my microbit and I coded a data log and I stuck it in the fridge for just over an hour or so. And when I did, I got some really cool information. The first thing that you get is a table. And that table has all of your information time-stamped, but it also has headers, which you actually create in the code that I'll show you how to build today. And it records that information over time. Now, even cooler than the table, it also gives you a graph. And the graph is kind of my favorite part. I do love visual media. I love a graph. It's one of my favorite things to do in a classroom too, is teach graphing. So here is my data that I got from putting the microbit in the fridge at the studio. And I'd love for you to take a look and see what you notice. Tell us in the chat. It looks like the green is light, the blue is sound, and the pink is the temperature. So what do you notice about our graph that we have here? Anything interesting? Let's see. I can tell you there's something interesting that happened right in the middle, right where you see those, big spikes of green happening. Nicole definitely has got it. When the fridge door opened and closed, yeah, I may have been snacking. I was, doing my work and everything. And then I was like, time to take a break and get some chocolate out of the fridge. That's right, looking good. Yeah, somebody else also said that the temperature is fairly stable, but also at the very beginning of our graph, it goes from 0 to 500 seconds it takes for that temperature to drop. So there's an acclimation time involved where I put the microbit in the fridge and it was probably just about room temperature. And when it went into the fridge, it took a hot second for it to cool off and get to fridge temperature. And it did bump up just a tad bit when I opened the fridge door, right? When that light went on, and when the, the sound spiked a little bit, probably from all of the rustling. So this is really cool. We're going to go ahead and take a look and see how we could do this with our, our own microbits at home. So let's go to Make Code and learn how we could code data logger on the microbit. All right, so I'm going to go over here to Make Code. All right, open up the editor. Here's some old code from other stuff. I just don't need this right now. I'm going to move it out of the way. All righty. Now, in order to code data logging on Make Code, a couple things we need to do. First of those is actually we got to go get the blocks for it. So there are blocks built into Make Code that do all kinds of great things, but there's a couple blocks for special things, and data logging is in fact a special thing that the microbit does. So I'm going to go to this gray category called extensions and grab the very first set of coding blocks, or library, I should say, that says data logger. All right, so I'll click that. Now this opens up a brand new category filled with blocks for me to use, and those are my data logging categories. There's all sorts of stuff that's in here. We can actually log our data. We could delete the log at some point, maybe if you were resetting it, for example, on our microbit. There's a way that you can have your data come in serial so you could see it live on your screen. But for now, there's going to be just a couple of things I need in order to access these blocks. Let's go grab my basic forever loop. Oh no, on start loop. There we go. And in my on start loop, I'm going to start us off by coding a way of seeing that I've downloaded on my microbit and making sure that I set up my columns for that table that we got to see. So first thing I'll need is an icon. I'm just going to use a smiley face. This will indicate to me that I've successfully downloaded. In my data logger, I'm going to grab the set columns block. And that's going to have the columns for specific sensors that I want to access in my data. And that's going to be light. All right. And then I'll add another one. Let's also do temperature. I'll do temp for temperature. And finally, sound. Great. All right. Now, all of these things are really cool. We'll get to see that data come across on our microbits. We also need to log the data. Now, we're going to do that using a loop. Now, loops are really cool. There's a lot of different loops that help you do things more than once. But in this case, I'm going to scroll down and grab this almost last loop that's in this category, the every loop. And this allows me to adjust my data collection rate, right? So depending on the type of data that you're collecting, you might want to collect a whole ton of data all at one time, or maybe I want to leave my microbit outside for 24 hours. Sure, why not? Well, I don't need to collect data every 1 second if I'm going to leave it out for 24 hours. Maybe I want to count every minute or every hour, right? So this block lets us to select which interval I'd like to collect my data at. For our purposes today, I'm going to do 1 second. So I'm counting, just in the time that we're going to sit here and chit chat with each other. Then let's go ahead and grab our logging data block from our data logger category. When I do that, now this is going to match up with the columns that I already set. And when I click on this space for columns, it brings up all of the things that I already set. So let's go ahead and grab light. And then I'll use my plus sign here to add more data in. That's going to be data for temperature. And then one last one for sound. All right. Now, these are all going to correspond to sensors that are in the microbit. All right. The sensors that we're using in our microbits today include the light, right, the sound, and the temperature. And all of these sensors are built in as inputs. They come into your microbit. And there just happens to be a category in Make Code that's exactly for that, for inputs. So I'm going to go ahead and grab sensors for light, temperature, and sound. And all of these happen to be round oval shaped blocks, which is great because my value I'm trying to record is a round oval shaped space. All right, so there's my light sensor. Now I'm going to find temperature. I'll scroll down in here until I find, there we go, temperature. Now, temperature is measured in Celsius in make code, and that is because this is a British product, folks. This is from our friends over at Microbit Educational Foundation there in the UK. And I will also say that the scientific community, that's measuring things, also uses Celsius. There is a way to convert to Fahrenheit. We're just going to leave it as Celsius for now, though. You can go ahead and Google that and see how you're going to switch to Fahrenheit another time. Let's grab our last sensor. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom and get the sound level block. Now, sound level is pretty cool. This one is only something that you can do with a microbit V2. Now, microbit V1, I guess you could try to do something like this, but you'd have to add something extra to your microbit in order to enable it with those capabilities. And then I have to set up a way to see that my sensors are actually working and my microbit is logging this data. So I'm going to code and output with my microbit screen. Back in my basics category, I'll grab a heart, and also I'm going to grab a clear screen, right? So the way the code sits as is, it's going to every second have a heart show up, log my data points that I'm looking for from these sensors, and then clear the screen. So as you can see actually here on my simulator, the microbit heart will beat every time it is collecting data. Very, very handy. All right, so next up, we're going to download this information onto our microbit. And there's a couple of really important things to note about downloading when you're using data logger. All right, so I'm going to switch back to this screen. When you're downloading and with the data logger, we have to maintain consistent power to the microbit. So normally when I'm coding with the microbit, yes, could you hand me the cord, Kelsey? Oh, it's underneath of me.
The studio is smaller. Things are more.
Yes, things are a little bit more compact. We're in the old studio in the garage today, not the new studio at the old school building. So everything is almost in the same place, which is why I keep searching for things, but not exactly. All right, so normally when we are downloading things onto our microbits with the computer, we do not like to have the battery pack involved. And that's because the battery pack disrupts the downloading process, right? The microbit actually has a moment when it downloads something where it turns itself off and then it turns on. And if the battery pack was plugged in, then I wouldn't have that turn off moment and something could potentially go wrong, not always, but sometimes. But in this process, my microbit's going to start collecting data the second that I download. And I don't want that to be interrupted when I unplug it. So we'll walk through these steps very carefully, make sure that we maintain that power the whole time and we don't disrupt our download all along the way. All right, so I've got my microbit plugged in. Let's go get this microbit. There we go, popped up on my computer. Let's get this microbit connected to my device. If it is not already, great. I'll walk through the pairing process, which if you haven't used a microbit before or you haven't used it in a while, the new pairing process for the microbit on a web browser is really fantastic and very smooth. All right, I got the sunshines and rainbows. My microbit's ready to go. I'll go ahead and download this code. And then I can see on my microbit, all right, that it is going to download the code. It takes a little longer the first time you download something for a couple of reasons. First, it could be updating your firmware. Very handy that MakeCode does that for you. But also this data logging protocol takes a little bit more space up on your microbit. I saw my smiley face and I see the heart is beating on my microbit right away. All right, that heartbeat, it means every single time it's doing this, every second, it's collecting all of my data points. So I have plugged into my USB, I downloaded my code. Next, I'll plug in my battery pack. All right, let's get that in there. Then I'm going to unplug the USB, and ideally, as long as nothing gets disrupted, my heart should continue beating. Yep, great. And now this is the extra fun part, right? Everything's on there. I get to go and collect some data. So here in the studio, all the light shining's collecting some data, and then I'll stick it here, maybe behind my hand, and see if something's different there. And maybe I'll say hello at my microbit really loud. All right, great. I've collected data. It's collecting every second. It should be plenty. Now, I'm going to plug my USB back in. And when you plug your USB back in, you may see, oh no, mine kept on going. Every once in a while it restarts at that point, but this time it didn't. That's perfectly okay. Even if it did restart, it's fine because I've already collected the data that I need to have. And then we access our microbit data from our computers. So let's go find that information. I'm opening up here. This is my file manager. And in your file manager, your microbit should appear just like a flash drive would on your computer. Inside of there, you can see the things that you actually have access to inside your microbit, which is kind of cool. But one of those is my data. And now I'm going to open that up by double clicking on it, and it opens in my Chrome browser. And there's my table with all my information. This is, well, very bright lights here in the studio. Big shocker to everybody, right? It gets a little, dimmer. Maybe that's when I put it behind the hand. We've got a pretty consistent temperature, and the sound varies. Probably as I was speaking, it was varying up and down. Now, this isn't the only thing that you can see. You also have these buttons here at the top, and one of them is visual preview. And there's that graph, right? The best part, if you ask me, of all of my light and sound. And now I can really visually see what happened in the data, in the information I was collecting. There's the beginning where I'm sitting here at the desk and I started moving around, and this must be where I put the microbit behind the hand. So here, this is everything we need to know about data collecting on our microbits. Pretty cool, all right? Now from here, there's a lot you can do with this data collecting. Not only can you collect data just in this space, but ideally, remember the goal is to take it outside. Take it out the door. I mean, I stuck my microbit in the fridge for an hour, right? And it was perfectly fine. From here, I'd love to show you Kelsey's camping data. So Kelsey took her microbit camping, and when she did, she collected data. Was this in Michigan, Kelsey?
No, this was actually next to a pond that barely qualified as a pond. It was really a puddle in here in Pennsylvania.
That's okay. Maybe it was a vernal pond, right? A pond that appears only at certain times of the year. So it could have been that for sure. But
there are trout that live there, so it must be large enough to support like 6 trout, but
okay.
mostly frogs, as you can see.
Oh,
data,
yeah,
actually.
absolutely. Yeah, you can see in Kelsey's data from the numbers, but also from the graph that the sound level really did peak up in there. And that's because there were a lot of frogs around and about. At certain times of the day, they're doing their thing and they're chirping about. All right. Now, we did a lot of really cool stuff with this, and we had a lot of really great ideas here from teachers too. We have a Padlet for our course, and on that Padlet, we share all of our codes and things, but we're taking a very environmental literacy focus in this course, talking about how we can use our microbits outside, but also what even environmental literacy is, right? That's all knowledge and skills that we need for students to have and know in order to not only interact with and understand the environment, but also protect it too. And there were some really great ideas that we got shared here on our course about all the things that you can do in education with environmental literacy. So there's a lot of really amazing resources being shared there. We'll make sure to share some of those out with all of you too, right? Now from here, this is a great time to check in with everybody in the chat if you haven't already been chit-chatting. Looks like a lot of people were talking a lot about temperatures and things. We did this activity, Microbit in the Wild. For those of you who did get to be there and do some data logging with us live, what did you think about that activity? And for those of you who weren't with us, what would you maybe do with this in your classroom? What ideas does this inspire for all of you? All right, so what do you think about data logging? I can tell you it's something I always enjoy doing with students. Going out into our environment and collecting data is a really great way of quantifying things that we sense all the time with our 5 senses. So I know a lot of us get to introduce science to students, especially younger students. And we often do that in the terms of how we sense the world around us with our 5 senses. Well, now the microbit is having all those capabilities of more senses and different ways of looking at those things around you. Let's see what's happening in the chat. We've got Karen says, I love thinking about taking kids to the next level. Next year, we made graphs with survey data. I am really, really excited to see.
You mentioned a teacher that you know who did a survey thing, right? With would you tell people about that? I thought that was such a cool one, where they were doing data logging and they were taking a survey live, right? That's a cool project.
Yeah, there's a great teacher here in Pittsburgh named Melissa, and she works with K-2 students, and they use their microbits to collect data. She has her second graders code a data logger on the microbit, and it's very simple. It's just for A and B buttons. And when they go around, they turn their microbits into wearable technology. So they stick their microbits onto their wrists, and they have a question with 2 answers for A or for B. And they run around the school with their little microbits. And they're like, do you like puppies or kittens? Press A or B. And they collect data from all their friends all over the place. And then they bring that data back and they learn how to make graphs, which is really cool. It's like an introductory way for them to learn how to start visualizing data that they've collected themselves about things that they're super interested in. We've got some of their friends sharing ideas here in the chat. This looks really cool. Nicole said, I enjoyed it, I guess the course, and love the homework. I'm trying to figure out the second place to collect my data. That is super exciting, Nicole. I'm glad you're enjoying the homework. When's the last time you heard someone say they enjoyed homework? Yeah, we had all of our teachers, once they knew how to do data log, between now and next week when we start session B, they have to collect data in 2 different locations and then bring their data back for next week, where we're going to do some cool things with them. We've got someone here said that I'll be teaching kindergarten soon, and maybe we can collect classroom noise data, and when we see it's loudest, we can be more silent. I actually have done that myself, Rosie. I have coded my microbit to be a noise keeper in the classroom and collected the data and then showed it to my students, and they were all like, oh. It really did get the point across there. All right, so friends, hopefully you really enjoyed data logging, and I am really excited to do more with all of my friends who will be in Microbit in the Wild next week. But if you won't be in Micro in the Wild next week, maybe we'll see you at next week's Skill Builder, where I'll share something else that we're doing in our course. All right, I'm gonna hand things back over to Kelsey, give her the space, and I'll see all of you very soon. All right.
Awesome job, Amanda Jean. On a Thank you. Sorry, I was muted. I was saying really nice stuff. No, I was just saying, just on a personal note, it is really, really cool to see Amanda Jean come in here and teach and flourish like this. I think a lot of you have been with us for years and have seen me and Matt and Mike kind of expanding and growing the company. And it's just really cool to have a new staff member on who is so capable and so good at things and so valuable. And it's just like really, really cool. So I also love that we get to introduce her to all of you. Now, I do see that Jean had a hand raised. So Jean, feel free to ask your question if you've got one in the chat. If you guys have any questions about data logging, that may have just been notifying me that you couldn't hear me. Absolutely fine. But yeah, it's data logging is a really, really powerful feature of the microbit. So yes, Maria, we love Amanda Jean too. That's awesome. So let's move on to our next course. Now, this course, we haven't done with anybody yet. This AI course, we haven't even started session A. So if you are here from the AI course, this is going to be a little preview of an activity that we are going to do together when we start our AI course. Oh, thanks, Jean. We're going to do a little preview of an activity. So you'll do this activity here, and then we'll do it again, probably in a slightly different way during the course as well. But first, a little bit of information about the AI course. So we called this course Beyond the Hype, Practical AI for Educators, because like there's a lot of hype out there right now when it comes to AI. And in fact, I invite you guys in the chat, let's do just like a little bit of word association. When you think of AI, what do you think? Feel free to type a word, a phrase, just type them in the chat, just free association. When you hear AI or artificial intelligence, what does that make you think of? And I'll read some of these out. Chat GPT, machine learning, cheating, automatic, yeah. Terminator, I think of that too, actually. Rufus, does that ring a bell for anybody? Well, I like it. I don't know what Rufus means, but I think it's Rufus. Anyone can contribute. That's a good point, Nicole. Not real. Oh, is it a system? An AI system? Skynet. Working smarter, not harder. It's always listening. Thanks, Meg. Yeah, problematic. I love what Christina said. It's really hard to know what to trust. You know, as we've been sitting down and really thinking about teaching this AI course, it's hit us that this is different from really anything we've ever taught before, because we've really focused on creative robotics. That's our wheelhouse as a company. You know, I got into robotics because I was teaching an after-school STEM program, and you know, it was mostly glitter slime and note card tower engineering, stuff like that. But there was a coding unit and there was a robotics unit, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I saw how engaged my girls were. It was a girls STEM program, and I was like, all right, I'm in on creative robotics. So that's how I went from being an English teacher to a robotics teacher. Matt got into robotics through puppetry. He's a filmmaker. He went to film school. He used to work for the Jim Henson Company and Sesame Workshop. So he started wondering, how could I control a puppet over there? And well, robotics is a great way to do that. But it's a very hands-on thing. And crucially, we didn't start teaching robotics in the classroom 10 years ago. If we had been teaching robotics in the classroom 10 years ago, we might not have been using the microbit, because I think it was brand new and I don't think it had hit the States yet. We might not have been using the hummingbird. It was around 10 years ago, but it wasn't that popular. We might have been using something like Arduino or Raspberry Pi. And the thing about those is that they weren't really designed for the classroom. Raspberry Pis, Arduinos, they were designed for tinkerers, right? They were designed for adults with basements and storage compartments and time. They were designed for Mike, basically. That's who Raspberry Pis and Arduinos were designed for. They were designed for Mike, not for me as an educator, as a tech hesitant educator. They would not have been designed for me to use, right? Versus the microbit and the hummingbird, those have been designed, classroom tested, battle tested, if you will. They have a ton of learning support material. The industry has put its heads together and agreed the microbit is great. The hummingbird robotics kit is great. And even more importantly, teachers have said, I use this thing and it works. AI is in a different spot, right? ChatGPT came out in January of 2022. I think it hasn't even been around for December 2022. That's right. So it hasn't even been around for like 2 full years yet. And oh my gosh, so much has happened. And it's happening every day too, right? Like ChatGPT updates every month or so, and Gemini comes out with another thing, and suddenly Google has AI responses, but they're wrong? Or are they? Is it Reddit? I don't know. Like, if you're following any of this, the news about AI changes every week, sometimes every day. So unlike a lot of the other things that we've been teaching, the industry has not settled on what AI is, or how to use it, or how to talk about it. And so when we were asked this summer, hey, can you teach AI? We said, what do you mean? Because there's a lot of things that AI can be. Do you mean, will you teach ChatGPT? Do you mean, will you teach Magic School AI? Do you mean, will you teach what AI is? Do you mean teach kids? Do you mean teach, what do you mean? And as we started to drill down on this AI question, teach AI started to sound like gobbledygook. Like, what does that mean exactly? After a while, it just felt like somebody walked up to us and said, hey, can you teach me the internet? It's like, what do you mean teach me the internet? Like, to be honest, my grandmother does not know what the internet is. I've tried to explain it to her so many times, right? I go home for Christmas. I say, I teach coding on the internet. And she says, where is the internet? And I say, it's on your phone. She goes, great. How, can I have it on my TV? And I said, yes. She goes, well, what is the internet? And I just sort of defaulted to, it's a series of tubes invented by Al Gore, right? I don't know, it's hard to explain. Similarly with, but the crucial thing is she doesn't know what it is, but she can use it. She can use her app to get a free coffee every 1 out of 10 times at the gas station, right? She can use it, but she doesn't know what it is. And to us, AI is sort of similar. We're going to talk about what it is. We're going to explore what it is, but you don't necessarily need to know what it is in order to use it. And in fact, you're probably using it already. The AI revolution is here, it's happening, and it's happening to us all right now. AI is in your Gmail, it's in your Google searches, it's getting integrated into all of these software and products that you use. It's in your phone, it's in search engines, like it is all over the place. So we should probably understand what it is because, you know, if you don't understand something, it's easier for that thing to control you, right? But the way we're teaching AI, it looks and it feels a little different from a lot of the things that we've taught before because the industry, education as an industry has not yet decided what it is or what's safe to use or how things ought to be used. So we're kind of approaching this, we really try to follow the lead of the industry, and the industry hasn't quite figured out what it is. So let's start there. I love what Maria said too. She said, I tell my 84-year-old mom that the internet is all of human knowledge in your computer. I like that. It's like an encyclopedia that gets updated all the time. That's great. So let's start there. What is AI? Now, maybe you guys have ways that you've been explaining this to students if they've asked, or maybe you're wondering just as much as everybody else. So I've come up with an analogy that I've been using, 2 analogies actually, that I've been using to explain AI. So AI is kind of like a baker. Or baking in general. So the raw materials like the eggs and flour and butter of AI is data, lots and lots of data. So AI machines or AI programs, they get trained on huge, big, giant data sets. Sometimes they're trained on words. Sometimes they're trained on images. Sometimes they're trained on, images of cancer and non-cancerous cells. They can be trained on all kinds of different data sets, but you need a lot. You can't just have one speck of flour and make a cake, right? And a lot of times you can't just have one egg. You can't just have an eggshell and make a cake out of it. You got to have 3 eggs. You got to have X number of cups of flour and butter, right? You need a lot of data to train an AI, but that's your raw ingredients. And if you think about it, some flour is better than other flour. Some eggs are better than other flour. Some eggs are bad. They're bad eggs. They're going to spoil your cake, right? Similarly, depending on the data you feed your AI, that can also ruin your AI. AI can be full of bias. Who collected that data? What was it used for? Who's included and who's excluded from that data? So if you're training your AI on health data and that health data only includes data from men, then your AI doesn't know anything about women. If you didn't include data with people of color, then your AI doesn't know anything about people of color. If you only included white faces in your image recognition software, your data may not recognize black faces or brown faces, right? So the data that you include in your AI, the ingredients and the quality of your ingredients, the quality of your data matters. So that's one part of it. And then you've got the recipe, like in baking, right? The recipe when it comes to AI is your algorithm for how it's going to use that data. It takes that data and then what is it going to do with it? And this is where humans write this as well. Humans collected that data. That's an opportunity for bias. And humans make this recipe, this algorithm as well. What's it going to do with that data? What is it trying to predict? What is it trying to do with it? And then you've got your baker. And that's the people who constantly refine the ingredients, adding different ingredients, changing ingredients, swapping out ingredients or data. They're also refining that algorithm, changing it, swapping this part out, adding that part in, refining how it pulls this piece of data or what it does with that. But the baker, or the people who are constantly working on that AI model, they really matter as well. Because the reason we say like AI is like a teachable machine or it's machine learning is because it's constantly learning, just like we are. And so, for example, with ChatGPT, they update their data set every so often, right? And right before an update is the time when you've got the oldest data. So if you're trying to search for a news article about something that happened last week, that may not be in certain data sets if that hasn't been included yet, right? So the baker is the team that's constantly refining that AI. So that's one way that I've been explaining, and I've been trying it out on people. If you've got another analogy that you like to use, please pop that in the chat. So yes, and I love that, Nicole. Who are the ones who are collecting the data and how accurate is it? It depends on your data set. You need to know what your data is. You need to have researched that data before you use it. But another analogy that I heard from a woman named Emily, and I'm going to blank on her last name, but she's an AI and education researcher, and she's been doing this research for like 20 years, which is like well before ChatGPT. And I was like, what do you think of all this new AI stuff? And she goes, first of all, it's not new. Every 5 to 10 years, somebody says, I've cracked it, where the AI revolution is nigh, and then it is or it isn't, right? But she had the analogy, she said, AI is like female intuition. And I love that because I love female intuition. But AI is like female intuition, where if I'm gonna like walk home late at night from somewhere, I'm gonna have to plan out my route, and I've got a data set. My data set about how to get home safely includes everything my mother ever told me to do and not do. It includes everything, every story my friends ever told me, every order of Law and Order, or every episode of Law and Order that I've ever seen, every story that I've read on the internet, every movie, right? And it's got all of that data in there. And then I'm going to decide how to get home from there. But if you ask me, why didn't you walk down that dark alleyway? Didn't feel safe. Didn't feel right. That's what I would say with female intuition, right? But with AI, AI can't point to one piece of data and say, that's why. It's kind of a black box. So once we feed things in there, we have to be really careful about what we feed it, because it can't always justify or tell us why it made the decision it made. It's just making that decision based on the data and based on the algorithm we write for it. Yeah. Mike has a really good one that you can check out here, an AI trained dating set. It makes him think about this movie called The Computer Who Wore Tennis Shoes. I like that. Got to check that one out. So we're going to do a little game, and this is a game that we're going to do in our AI course. So in our AI course, we're going to investigate a few different things about AI. We're going to talk about how to explain it to kids at various grades. We're also going to explore how to use AI in your classroom where your kids are actually using it. What are safe AI tools for kids to use to create things like do an activity like use AI to create a coloring sheet? And how do you do prompt engineering? And so teach that to your kids. We're also going to talk about how to use AI as a teacher in your classroom as like an engagement tool. So like, how could you create a chat bot where students can talk to a character from one of the books that you've been reading? So we'll talk about that. And then finally, we're going to talk about using AI as a teacher to do your teacher stuff. Things like differentiating lexile levels for different levels of readers, taking a text and then translating it into a lower and a higher lexile level so that everybody can have the same content, but at a reading level that's appropriate for them, or differentiating for different special needs, things like that. So we're going to talk about those 4 things in AI: how to explain it to kids, how to get kids using it, how to use it for kids in your classroom, and how to use it for yourself as a teacher. So we'll be exploring different tools and different approaches to it with that. We're really going to try to keep it practical and get beyond the hype, just do something real. But right now, we're going to play a little game. And I'm going to have Matt throw a link in the chat to this game. This is a game that was presented at CSTA 2023. It was a virtual session. I'm going to pull this up here. It was a virtual session, and this is like the AI card game, basically, and it illustrates how visual AIs work. So that's like image recognition software, things like that. So you show the AI an image, and it says that is a banana, or that is a surfboard, or that is a hot dog, or whatever it is that you just showed it. And so what it's doing when visual AIs are doing image recognition, this says a computer vision identifies objects and images by analyzing physical characteristics, such as shape, color, and size, rather than the object's function. Because if it's just looking at a picture, it doesn't know what its function is. It's just got to analyze it visually. This card game gets players thinking about objects in the same way in order to better understand how AI works. So the way this is going to work is that we're going to, in just a moment, we're going to invite Amanda Jean back on screen, and she's going to be our pretend AI, all right? And we, as a group, we are going to come up with a random object, and then we're only going to describe it to her in terms of, let me make sure I get this right, color, size, texture, and shape. And we'll do those one at a time, and then she's going to try to guess what it is, all right? So, Amanda Jean, would you come on over? You can bring your chair with you, and she's going to bring a blindfold as well, because I don't want her seeing what we come up with, okay?
All right,
So,
here I am.
right there. I'll hold this because it rolls.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, you didn't think AI looked this good, did you, right?
Never did. I never did think that, but now I know. Okay.
Blindfold myself.
Blindfold
All right.
on.
Okay, friends. Cannot see anything.
Okay, how many fingers am I holding up?
I have no idea. Could
Perfect
you tell me?
answer. Nope, I will not tell you. Okay, so I've got our friendly neighborhood AI Gemini here, and I'm going to type into Gemini. I'm going to get this to come up with some ideas for us. I'm going to ask it, what am I going to ask it? I have this here. Okay, I'm going to say, hey, Gemini, please name 5 random fun objects and show me a picture, which Amanda Jean can't see. So we're thinking. Okay, everybody look at my screen. Here are our objects. I'm not going to say them out loud. Here's number 1. Okay, here's number 2. Here's number 3. Here's number 4. And here's number 5. And you guys vote. Tell me in the chat, which one should we do? Which one should we pick? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. All right, I feel like the chat is, but oh, it's coming in. Okay. What are you thinking they picked, Matt? 2 or 4? All right, you be the tiebreaker, Matt. 2 or 4? 2. Okay, we're going to do number 2. So we're going to do this guy. I'm going to Google just pictures of, hold on, that really quick. Okay, so here's what we're going to attempt to describe, okay? And let's pick this one, all right? So we're going to describe this one to her, everybody. So look at that in your mind. Keep it in your mind. And first, type it out in the chat. Describe it by color, everybody. Just by color. How would you describe this thing? All right, Amanda Jean, here's what they're saying.
Okay.
By color, this is blue, red, black, and white. What do you think it is? You get 3 guesses.
Blue, red, black, and white. And I get 3 guesses for each of these categories of things.
Yeah,
right?
for color, based on those colors, you get 3 guesses. What do you think it is?
All right. Blue, red, black, and white.
Uh-huh.
A book.
A book, not a book. And we're just going to tell you yes or no as
Okay.
well. Okay.
All right. I kind of wish I knew more describing, like, if one of the colors was more than the other or something along those lines, but
Sorry, can't help you.
I'm okay. Just
Well,
those
mostly
colors.
blue. That's what I saw in there. Mostly
Okay.
blue with red and black.
All
and
right,
white.
mostly blue with some accents of black and white and red. This is very challenging.
I
right?
know.
Maybe a sign.
Okay. No, it's not a sign.
Okay. All right. What else could be mostly blue? Okay, yeah, I wish like it was 20 questions and I could ask
I know,
questions
you
back.
cannot, we can only describe it to you.
It's
Get one
really
more
not.
guess, mostly blue with some red and white and black.
Okay, all right. What if things I can picture in my head that are mostly blue? A beach ball.
A beach ball, not a beach ball.
Okay, all right. Well,
All right, well, there you go. Okay, so how about size? Okay, and we'll say it's this size, everybody. Oh, here, I'll show you. We'll say it's this size. How would you describe the size to Amanda Jean, and however you would describe it? Okay, not the shape of it, but the size of it. Okay, we're getting bigger than most humans,
oh,
taller than a car, taller than she is, says Rachel, which is a fun thing.
oh, yeah, okay.
Tall and slim. What else? How would you describe the size? The size, 20 feet tall,
20 feet.
really tall and skinny. 7 feet tall.
Okay.
There you go.
20 feet and 7 feet?
Uh-huh.
So one or the other.
Yeah. Yeah, somewhere between 7 feet and 20 feet tall.
Oh my
Tall and
goodness.
skinny.
Oh, you need to get better at describing sizes.
All right, you get 3 guesses.
Okay, so it's like it's blue thing with some other colors, and it's real tall, and it's taller than me, and it's taller than like building size maybe,
Uh-huh.
and it's skinny.
Uh-huh.
Okay, a miniature version of the Eiffel Tower.
No.
Okay, all right. Well, I made a guess.
That was
Let's
a
see.
solid guess.
Yeah.
I really want to congratulate
I
you.
want to honor that. Yeah.
First time I've chimed in this entire, I'm really impressed by that.
Really invested. Oh, Gretchen it says it's 20 feet tall with a 2-foot perimeter, perhaps.
A 2-foot perimeter? So it's like a really tall, skinny thing, a flagpole?
No.
Tall? No. Oh my God, a 2-foot perimeter.
Maybe a 4-foot perimeter. Perimeter
Okay.
is this.
But
So.
it's like I could see the size like in this space, but it's real tall.
Yeah.
So it would go through the ceiling.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's mostly blue.
Yeah.
The thing they put on top of buildings that make planes not fly into them.
Oh, like a signal tower?
Yeah, like an antenna or something.
No, good guess. We're going to
Okay.
give you some more clues because now we're going to do texture, everybody. So what do you think? How would you describe the texture of this thing? If you were going to feel it with your fingers, what's the texture of this thing, everybody? Okay, they are saying smooth.
Okay.
By the way, Regina says, I believe Amanda will get this by the end. No pressure.
Oh, okay.
Smooth, satiny. Jean says smooth with a lot of O's.
O's, okay. Many O's.
Let's see. Smooth, soft, nylon smooth, flexible, says Ashley. Fabric, says Nicole. Canvas-like, says Roxanne. Rubbery, says Millie. Sticky in the heat, says Marianne.
In the heat.
Squishy, says Mike. Squishy, smooth, canvas-like.
A seal.
Not a seal. Keep going. This is really fun, actually.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All
Two
right.
more guesses.
2 more guesses.
20 feet tall,
I-
2 to 4 feet around,
I wish
blue.
I could AI generate the picture of what's in my mind for you, because it's just this like amorphous, random, flexible flagpole looking thing that is blue. And I'm like, I don't know what that thing is, but that's
You're
what it looks like in
describing
my
it
head.
exactly.
Oh gosh darn it. I don't know what it is though.
You've described it perfectly. Do you want more clues or do you want to guess again?
Oh God. Do I get more clues?
Yeah, you get one more, which is the shape.
Oh God. Okay. Well, maybe I'll try guessing one more time and then we can
Okay.
do shape. All right, let's see. All right, it is this thing that I've pictured in my head. What is that thing? A blue, not red carpet.
No, but no.
Okay.
No. Okay. You want one more clue?
Yeah, let's
Because
do
now
more clues.
we got shape. What is it shaped like? So describe the shape of this thing, everybody. What is the shape of this thing? Okay, cylindrical with sticky outy bits.
Oh, with sticky
Cylindrical with two other cylinders attached to the central cylinder. A cylinder with cylinders coming off of it, tubular, a straw shape.
The
Sort of
world's
wide.
most gigantic straw, most gigantic bendy straw.
Again, wrong, but not wrong. Yeah, and Holly, I love what you're saying there, so I'm just gonna like note that in my head and come back to that comment. Yes. Straw shaped, a human-like shape. Raymond says kind of like an airplane. It's a flexible cylinder with cylinders coming off of it.
Okay, I can sort of picture that in my head, but I don't know what it is. Is it like one of those tube things that like dogs can run through or something?
No,
You know what I'm talking about?
I do. It's not that.
Oh,
It's not that.
but it's sort of close to that?
Yeah, keep going.
Oh God, what
Because
else is
it's
that?
20 feet tall.
It's like a, is it the thing that comes out of a building when they throw trash out of it or something?
No,
You know what I'm talking about?
I
Like they
do,
stick it
yeah,
to
they
the,
stick
like,
it
and then they
there.
have a dumpster at the bottom and they throw stuff through it.
I'm loving where you're going, but that's not it. One more guess. This is your
Oh,
last one.
gosh.
She's so close, says Nicole. I know. Okay, here's one more. Regina says a tall cylinder with a face on
Oh
top,
my God,
but bendable.
Doobie Man. Guy. It's the one that dances. Oh
You
my
got it.
God. Oh wow, it's really bright. Oh, it's a Doobie Man. Oh man.
That was great.
That
That was great.
Man, that was challenging. That was thoroughly challenging. Like that would be such a fun party game at like your house with your friends or something.
Absolutely. We're gonna play the AI game, friends.
Yeah.
That was great. Oh man, there's Gail going, "Woo, awesome, she's awesome. What a fun game. You've got all of the applause emojis. And Regina, you're right.
You did
Regina
believe
says,
in me,
I knew she
Regina.
would get. I believed in you, Amanda. Way
You
to go.
did it. Oh man. All right.
Thank you, Amanda Jean.
You got
That
it.
was
Thank
great.
you, friends. I'm gonna take my chair and go relax after all that hard work.
That was stressful. That was stressful. You got it. So, what was the point of that other than to have fun? Well, first to have fun and have a little fun with Amanda Jean. This is how we haze people. This is our onboarding experience here at CodeJoy. No, but what was the point of doing this card activity here? Well, the point of this was really to illustrate how AI works, how specifically image recognition works, because it doesn't understand the function of what it's looking at. It's been trained on data sets to recognize color, shape, size, texture, color, size, texture, and shape. Yeah. So it's been trained to understand things like that and then make a guess with a reasonable amount of certainty. And it's so funny. I love that they put shape at the end because that's really what unlocked it for her, which was really cool. So let me ask you guys, what did you think of this activity? Or what does this inspire for you in the classroom? Does this make you think about AI differently or wonder about AI differently? Matt's going to put these in the chat, but what did you think of this activity? Was it fun? Was it silly? What did you think? Let's see. Marianne says this made me feel empathy with AI. I love that. I love that. Heidi said it was fun. Let's see. Maria says, I'm definitely playing this with my coding club. Oh, I love to hear it. It makes me wish I was in the AI class too, says Holly. Oh, we wish we could have everybody in all of our courses this summer for sure. Great opener for a meeting. Awesome. A great way to introduce kids to AI about what that AI is doing. It's kind of like 20 questions, says Raymond. Yeah, might be a great way to introduce AI. I thought it was fun, so much fun. This would be great and very understandable to kids, absolutely. A good way of showing kids how AI interprets information. The more specific and the amount of data, the better or closer you get, says Laura. I love that conclusion. The more data you gave her when you were like a cylinder, okay? A cylinder with cylinders coming off of it, okay? A cylinder with cylinders coming off of it, and a face. When we said face, that's when you were like, I got it. Is it the guy? Yeah. Regina says, I thought the activity was a lot of fun. I'm thinking that we can somehow use this the first week of school to get to know each other. All new middle school students for me this year. Wow. Can't wait to do this in class. Awesome. Well, yes, please do use that resource there. And someone asked if there were slides from today's session. You know, there aren't slides, but these resources, tell you what, we'll put them together in a little document, just kind of what we covered today, and we'll email that out. We'll build kind of a document that goes along with this so that we can email that out to anybody who registered for the Skill Builder series. Awesome. Yeah, we can post it with that YouTube too. Awesome. Let's see. Gretchen said it was fun, and it also gave me an opportunity to clarify my thoughts and words and explanations. What am I really trying to say? What information am I really trying to access? Awesome. Fantastic. Literacy or science class, prediction like charade game, says Millie. Love that. Awesome. So, all right, we're going to be done just a little bit early today, but my question for you, I have a couple Menti questions for you. So Matt's going to put that Mentimeter link back in the chat, or if you still got it open, just navigate back to your Mentimeter section there. And I'm wondering, what's going to stick with you from today's session? We covered some things with robot mini golf. We covered some things with microbit. We did this AI lesson. Maybe it's something you saw, or something somebody said in the chat, or just something that you're feeling right now. But what's going to stick with you from today's session? And Amanda Jean, I wonder if you could help me read some of these out.
Sure can. The AI game.
How about what's next?
Oh, the AI example for sure. Data logging.
Excellent. I mean, data logging with the microbit is just such a cool and powerful way to use those inputs and keep track of them, you know? Love it.
How to talk to kids about AI.
Awesome. How about this one?
That coding and AI aren't as scary or hard to understand after all.
Absolutely. Not with friends like your friends here at CodeJoy, and not with friends like folks at the Microbit Foundation, at BirdBrain. We're going to continue to find those AI resources for things that are classroom ready and fun. Absolutely. How about this one?
I wish I signed up for the robotics course.
It's a course that we will continue to offer. Obviously, the Pathfinders opportunity is closed now. They're all filled up. But again, if you want to connect us with the people who provide you professional development, be that your school district, your intermediate unit, or your educational service agency, or your RISA, your BOCES, your whatever the people are, who do you go get your bloodborne pathogens training from? Those people. Introduce us to them, and we'd love to work with them to bring trainings like this to you wherever you are. How about the AI game? How about this one?
The opportunities for students to get creative with robotics and surveys.
Awesome. Love to see it. How about this one?
I need to sign up for Microbit next summer.
Come on back now. Do some more Microbit stuff with us. We're here for it. We teach a number of different Microbit courses. We do Intro to Microbit with Project Tricks, which is a block-based coding language, all centered around this little alien character, which is fun. We do Intro to Microbit with Python using the Microbit Python editor, and now Microbit in the Wild, which is this environmental literacy framing. So yeah, sign up for whatever we do with Microbits next summer. How about this one?
As I gained confidence with the microbit, I look forward to building on that in the future with Hummingbird, etc.
Excellent. Yeah. If you're ready for motors, we highly recommend Hummingbird because it just works. It doesn't just work some of the time. It just works, which is what I need in my classroom. How about this?
I want to learn more about the data collection on the microbit.
Absolutely. There's tons of resources on microbit.org about that too, so definitely check that out. How about this? Oh, we did that one already. How about one more? How about this one?
Microbit is more sophisticated and I can do more than I thought.
I love that. Yeah, these tools, a lot of times, especially when we just teach like intro courses, people think like, oh, if that's how easy it is, it probably can't do that much. Yeah, it can do so much. We often try to emphasize the low floor to make sure that it's really easy for people to get started and that you don't have to like bite off more than you can chew kind of thing. But there's just so much you can do with it. There's a really high ceiling. In fact, when it comes to Microbit and Hummingbird, we built a company on it, right? Like our system, our interaction system with students where they code and control our robots, that is all powered by microbit. It has a very high ceiling as to what it can do. And I'm excited for you guys to discover that as well. All right, I've got one more question for you here on Mentimeter. Again, very open-ended, but this was our first Summer Skill Builder series, and I'm curious, what should we include in our future Summer Skill Builder sessions? We're going to do these on Fridays for the whole month of the rest of July, and then the first one in August. But what would you like to see in future Skill Builder series? Our plan is to do an activity from robot mini golf, microbit in the wild, and AI for educators. So we're going to do an activity from each of those. But do you want to see, we're going to be at the new studio from here on out. So do you want to take a tour of the new studio? Do you want to see more in depth on how to build certain robots? Do you want to do more coding demos or less coding demos? We're here to take your suggestions. So what would you like to see in our upcoming Skill Builders series? How about this one?
More hands-on.
Yeah, you know, we usually in our courses, we definitely do everything in a very hands-on way because we know you have the tools. But in this one, some people have microbits, but not hummingbirds. Some people have a hummingbird, which does have a microbit, and some people are from the AI course and there's no hardware associated with that. So we didn't figure that we could do it fully hands-on because not everybody has the tool, but we do want to include some like hands-on like demos and things. So, hey, if you want to code along with us, you certainly can. We want to include some more of that. How about this one?
Cheat sheets for all the showcased activities for the courses that we are not in.
We will definitely do that for future skill builders. Every activity we cover, we'll put that in a Google Doc and we'll share that with you guys too. It'll be kind of an ongoing Google Doc. So even if you can't come to the future skill builder series ones, do sign up for them. Even if you can't attend, go ahead and sign up for them because then you'll be sure to get the recording and the document. We'll keep the same document for all of them though. So yeah. I'm seeing in the chat here, Christina says, ways to introduce building with students, especially more open-ended ones like the pet building project. Coding along with you guys, says Nicole, yeah. AI input on text-based and art tools. We'll be using some more sort of actual AI tools in future sessions. We thought we'd just start with sort of an AI unplugged one. How about this one?
Would love some more hands-on building activities.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. How about this one?
I would love to see a tour and more coding demos.
Yeah, we can totally make sure to save some time next time for a tour. I think our AI activity next time will be a little bit shorter, so we could show you around the new place. We're very proud of it. So how about this?
I love seeing them connect the ISTE standards, so ideas on design thinking connections and computational thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. These are great ideas, you guys. Thank you. Ooh, how about this one?
Troubleshooting.
Yeah, you know, that's a great one. We could have shown with the mini windmill some things that tend to go wrong with the mini windmill and show you how to fix them. Same with data logging. Yeah, absolutely. And how about one of this one?
Recordings from the other summer offerings.
Yeah, those recordings, currently they're only available to the people who took that course. That's kind of how things are set up currently, that the full recordings of the full courses are only available to the people who put the course. But I'll end with a really exciting, kind of cool announcement, which is that we are lucky enough to be working with Infosys again in the fall, and we're going to turn our AI course and Microbit in the Wild into asynchronous video courses. So we're going to take all the content that we do in Microbit in the Wild and chop it up into short little manageable videos, which are then going to live on the Infosys site for free. That's going to be both the Microbit in the Wild course and the AI course. So unfortunately, we're not doing that for Robot Mini Golf, although we may do that ourselves. But Infosys generously funded us to be able to do that asynchronous video course. So if you're familiar with like the Bird Brain PD courses, it's going to be a lot like that because we designed that system when we were there. So woo woo, I'm with you, Melissa. We're really excited about that. And then that asynchronous course, for the Microbit one, if you're one of the first 300 educators to sign up for that one, you'll get 2 microbits mailed to your house for that, because we're going to do a radio activity where you'll need 2 microbits. So if you've got colleagues that you would like to involve, or if you'd like to sign up for that course yourself, I believe that course is going to be available in either October or November. We're filming it in August. They're going to take about a month to put it on their website, and then hopefully it'll be available in October or November. So I know you already have an Infosys account because you had to have one to sign up for the summer. So now that you've got it, check back on their website, and there will be some really cool video courses from CodeJoy. Where do we sign up? Nowhere yet. You've got your Infosys account, so just check back on the Infosys site in like October or November, and we've got your information too, and so we'll be in touch. We'll let you know when those are available because we know a lot of folks are excited about that. So we've just got about 10 minutes left until the end. So if anybody had any questions, comments, any troubleshooting type things that you wanted to do in this webinar format, we invite you to say those things now or ask those questions now. But if you don't have any questions or you don't want to stick around for the last 10 minutes, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. It's been lovely having you here for our Summer Skill Builder series, and I hope we see you back next Friday. Once this is all done, Susan will be editing this and she'll put it up on YouTube sometime probably over the weekend or next week, and we'll email you with the recording if you want to check it out. So I am going to check in on the chat. I think there was a question that came in. So will you be offering these same 3 courses in the fall plus additional courses? Absolutely, Roxanne. Yeah. We're working, it used to just be that we did like Microbit, Hummingbird, and Finch. But now that we have specific courses, we're working on drafting basically a full course list that school districts can purchase, basically. Currently, the way that we work is that school districts or organizations or intermediate units or national organizations, state departments of educations, they purchase our time, and then teachers attend through that organization, through their district or something like that. But we've considered offering courses just sort of open to the public. We're just not sure how payment would work for that, because again, we don't think you as a teacher should be paying for your own education. Somebody else should pay for you to learn. So we just want to find ways to keep that free for teachers. Yeah. Gretchen says, I appreciate the live session. Thanks, Gretchen. You're amazing too, Karen. Thanks for being here. Let's see. If we aren't signed up for a skill builder, will we still be able to see it on the YouTube channel? Yep. We're just going to put it on our main YouTube channel. It'll be like the skill builder series. So each video will be up about a week after, at sometime in the week following when we do it. So yeah, the videos will definitely be public. You got it. Have a great weekend, and sorry. Wonderful to have you here. Will we be at CSTA, asks Randy. Unfortunately, no, we won't be at CSTA. We just got our new staff member, Amanda Jean, and so we haven't really been able to plan to go to conferences. In fact, Matt and I weren't even able to go to ISTE this year because we were just too busy with initiatives. And so now that we have Amanda Jean here full-time, our hope is that we'll be able to attend some more conferences as a company in some way. We probably won't have a booth just because, like, how do you do this at a booth? I don't know. If you got ideas, you let us know. But one way that we would like to have a presence at conferences, if you're curious, is we would love to work with you. So if you've presented at a conference before, or if you're interested in presenting at a conference like CSTA or a state level conference or a regional level conference, we'd love to support you with that, either with maybe sending you some stickers and pens, stuff like that, to hand out some CodeJoy swag, you know, but also even supporting you remotely, because, you know, we can't be everywhere in the country. But if you introduce a microbit, we could hop on virtually and teach a whole room of teachers who are there at the conference with you. And so that you don't have to be the only one there. We could be like the ones up front teaching, and you can be the one in the room kind of helping people troubleshoot. So we could totally like co-present at a bunch of conferences together. So if you're interested in that, just email us, hello@codejoy.org. We'd love to co-present with you personally at a conference sometime. So let us know. Let's see. This was really great, says Leslie. Thanks, Leslie. Oh, Maria, you're presenting at Q and CA STEAM. Hey, reach out to us. If we can support you in any way, let us know. You know, we're still kind of figuring out what our conference strategy might be. So let us know how we can support you at a presentation like that. You're going to go to Palm Springs. Man, Q is the best conference because I freaking love Palm Springs. I don't miss traveling at all, except not going to Palm Springs. I miss that. Randy says, I'm the past president of Oregon CSTA, and I'd love to have you folks present at one of our state PDs. Oh, we would love that, Randy. Please do. If you want to connect us with the current team there, we'd love to reach out to more Oregon educators through CSTA. It's an amazing organization, and yeah, it's like the place that teachers go to when they want to find community in the CS world. So we'd love to help out. Sounds great. Thanks, Maria. Thanks, Randy. Maria says, I just presented at LITE and I'll do the same next year. So yeah, reach out. We're here to support you. Thanks, Randy. Thanks, Maria. All right. Did anybody else have any other questions or anything else you wanted to cover? I see Nicole has a hand up. Feel free to ask your question. Nicole, you got to do it in the chat. Unfortunately, since this is a webinar, we can't unmute. Oh, there's an allow to talk. Hmm. I haven't used it. Let's see. See if I can allow Nicole to talk. You can tell that my contacts are old. I'm so sorry. Do you have that feature?
Alt, unmute, play sound.
I have. Okay. I think that's only for panelists.
I just turned it on.
Oh, okay.
So if she unmutes, she should be able to talk.
Oh, Nicole says, nope, that wasn't me raising my hand. My cat.
Yeah, no, sorry. That was my adorable little kitten trying to get involved in what I was doing on the computer.
We're happy to hear from your cat.
Yeah, if your cat has any questions, we're happy to answer them for sure. Well, thank you so much, everybody. We've really appreciated your time today. Oh, Rachel had a question about microbit. Do we need to post our homework before the next microbit sessions? Yes, if you can, complete that homework before the session A homework, before you get to session B, because the first thing we're going to do in session B is we're going to use that data. So if you've already got it on the Padlet there, then you'll be able to access your CSV file and your graph so that you can use that in our first activity for the day. Yeah. I definitely will be watching for future courses, says Joy. I'm glad to hear it. Cybersecurity and networking would be cool, says Mark. Something reasonable for later elementary or middle school. You know, we've thought about doing some cybersecurity things before. It hasn't. Our personal interests have very much led the learning here.
Well, we have a cybersecurity expert on staff.
We do, yeah. Mike is a cybersecurity. He does our cybersecurity, and knock on wood, we haven't been hacked yet. So he's doing great. But yeah, that's a great idea. I love that. Randy says, I'll be at CSTA next week, so I'll probably miss next week's sessions, Microbit in the Wild and the Skill Builders, but I hope to catch up with the recordings. We'll have them for you. You got it. Will we be able to see the Padlets from other courses, says Christine? You know what? I think we can probably link those in the doc that we send out. Yeah, that's a great idea, Christine. We'll do that. We'll put those Padlets in there so you can see what other teachers have done. Totally. I assume we didn't receive anything for AI and we don't need to do anything before the first session. You are totally right, Regina. No physical materials for the AI session. It's going to be all virtual, all digital. So we'll be using like free online software, things like that. And you don't need to do anything before the first session. There will be some homework between sessions A and B, and then between B and C, but you don't need to do anything before the first session. There is no summer reading for AI course. Cyber.org free PD starting July 29th. Many options. Okay, Crystal, we'll check it out. Nice. Cool. Any other questions from anybody? Let us know in the chat. We're here to answer. I was like building in some extra time at the end so that just in case we can answer any questions from folks. Cool. Well, thank you all for joining us in our first Summer Skill Builder series session this summer. We will hopefully see you at the subsequent 3 more of these. And thank you so much for joining us. We will see you guys next time. Oh, quick question, quick answer for Sharon. Sharon says, I signed up for AI. I didn't know I could have taken the other 2 workshops. You couldn't have. You didn't miss anything. You were only allowed to sign up for 1. So you can't actually take all 3. So you picked the AI one, which is great. That's part of why we're doing these summer skill builder ones, so that we can kind of preview what you didn't have access to because you couldn't join those other courses. So you had it right. You got it right. Awesome. We'll go ahead and end it here. Thank you so much, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.